This is the one true Omni Gamer, the god of boss brawns. Or is that the other way around?
This is primary shield agent True Backlash.
And blue.
Don't you mean Empress Blue?
Empress blue.
Yes. And if you haven't noticed,
As Guardian Empress blue.
there you go. Aim high. Aim high indeed, Blue. And as you notice, we just got done seeing Thor, The Dark World. And I hate to be that guy, but this is probably going to be the shortest review we've ever done because I expected nothing less from this movie. It was great. It was awesome. And anyone who has anything to say bad about this should really reevaluate their lives. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start with the story, and that is True Backlash's territory.
Okay. Let's see. Well, after the mess that Loki caused in the Avengers movie, there was heck to pay. And so the peck was, instead of executing the jerk, his mommy still loved him, so they just threw the little creep in jail. But you think that would be the end of Asgard's problems? Not so. That's even apparently implied to be even before the actions of the Avengers. There was crap going on all over the Nine Realms, and Thor had to take care of it all. Him and the rest of his motley crew of awesome guys.
And lady.
But
Ladies.
yep, ladies. And just when he got to see Jane Foster again, along with Dr. Selvig and the sexy chick from Two Broke Girls, the one that called the hammer Mew Mew, it seems like an ancient evil, Dark Elves, and led by Malekith the Accursed, is looking for your evil MacGuffin power, which shockingly one of Thor's allies comes in contact with. So that happens, and it just gets worse and worse from there. The almighty Asgard starts to show chinks of weakness. The planet Earth's in chaos again. It never stops after the Avengers form. You notice that, and as you may be able to see from the trailers, I won't say exactly. Watch the trailers at least. Thor might have to rely on some old foes for assistance.
Now, come on. If you didn't know that Loki wasn't going to come back into this movie, you're clearly blind and or living under a rock. He comes back, and he's the old enemy. Spoilers.
Yeah, he sure did. Jeez, take the wind out of those sails.
Hey, I'm sorry, but it's like, really. I mean, he's everywhere. And I like Loki before he was cool, man. Now everyone's on the Loki train. And I think they're just all hipsters, in my opinion. But I'm not going to insult any further audience, I swear. But back to the movie. Let's talk about... actually, before we move on, let me think. Guys, what did you think about the story? From beginning, middle, and end. Don't spoil the story, but your reaction.
Not like some folks.
You're just happy. You're just happy you got to see Thor with his shirt off. Huh?
Without a doubt, I'm still kind of shaken up by the shirt off. It was a great look.
I'll be honest with you, as a man in comic book movies, we have enjoyed a lot of fan service, but this is the first time for the ladies, I think. And it went kind of quickly.
Yes, and I gotta say, Boss Bronze, if you remind me, that I have a picture of that shirt off that came straight from Marvel that we'll put on the site just for the ladies.
Maybe. We'll put it to a vote, never. But anywho, about the story. What'd you think about it from beginning, middle, and end?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's the kind of story that is truly so action-packed. I mean, I totally love all the sequencing, all the actors that play these roles they are just cast so well. I mean, just keep getting better. It's just like a good wine with age. It just gets better and better. And it's no longer these independent actors and whatever else they may have done before the Thor and before the Loki. And needless to say, Anthony Hopkins is always a master thespian. But even he takes on the whole Odin persona. And even as he's aged, and you can clearly see it from picture to picture, it's almost like it's his given adjustment within the role. I love Idris Elba. As normal, he usually has that very stoic kind of role, but I gotta say, he got a little actiony himself this time, little stabby action, and I'm not gonna say too much more about that.
Yeah, spoilers.
But overall, I think the movie, as Boss Bronze alluded to, is exactly what I expected. I didn't get not one moment less. I would have wanted to see more because it leaves you so satisfied. It's almost like a good dessert. You're already full, but you can use it just a little bit more because it's so darn good.
Backlash?
I thought the beginning was a little dry, but it needed to be to tie up some loose ends from the Avengers, to tell you what happened to Loki, and to explain what new villain threatens the Marvel Universe and the Asgard Universe as well. The middle was great. It had a lot of surprises, a lot of action, and a lot of good storytelling. The end was just fantastic, all throughout. And I like the resolution, or lack thereof, of a lot of what happens in the Nine Realms.
Yeah, I gotta admit, from beginning, middle, to end, I was thoroughly enjoyed. It paced well. The things, in my personal opinion, make sense. All the direction, it showed the evolution of the characters from the once brash god of lightning to a much more sensible protector of his people in the Nine Realms. I enjoyed how the Warriors 3 and Sith were pretty much, who they were from the beginning, but even they were a little different, Heimdall. Yeah, Heimdall was still pretty BA, even though he just originally a guy who stands and shoot the Rainbow Bridge cannon. He still did his thing. Anthony Hopkins as Odin, no question, still awesome.
Rene Russo as Frigga.
Oh yeah,
Rene Russo.
Surprising.
Let me just tell you, without major spoilers,
please.
She was almost as bad as Heimdall, as Idris Elba, more than just a figure piece there. Only Heimdall had more to do in the last movie, whereas Frigga, Rene Russo, was just, "Hi, I'm Thor's mommy. Let me get that smudge off your face. Mom, I'm the deity of thunder." But in this movie, she impressed me. And Rene Russo, I haven't seen her acting chops that fresh in a very long time. And the character Frigga, awesome.
I couldn't agree more. She was definitely my little star of the moment there. And she, trust me, once you see what we're talking about, you'll agree.
And it just fits because, reality-wise, if this was truly a reality thing, you would expect to have Odin have a wife that would have a role, just like you would expect the mom of Loki and Thor to be.
Yeah,
you would expect some of these things.
I mean, you'll go away, at least in part of her scene, saying, "Huh, that makes sense."
Let's get to the meat. The action.
Mm-hmm.
How was the action, people? Was it Avengers worthy? Was it Iron Man 3 worthy?
Oh yeah. And then some.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, it wasn't as action-packed as, say, the Iron Man movies or the Avengers, if you could believe that. That's shocking to say. But the action it had, it was different.
It was different. I didn't want it to be just like Iron Man 3, where Tony Stark was fighting terrorists. We're on a different playing field, and I wanted things to be shown as such. And they did bring it to bear. I mean, the final battle, ladies and gentlemen, it will be reminiscent to a type of very popular video game.
They established that right out the gate.
Oh yeah, it's just missing the companion cube. I won't say any more, but and how it all tied together, very entertaining, very action packed, and it showed why Thor is one awesome deity.
Oh my goodness, yes. And at the same time, he brings his subtle little humor to it. There are some moments where You know, you get a chuckle in between all of the action, and you know, you get some symbolism to things that are unique to Asgard and unique to the type of uh, foes that Asgard has, and that added to the action. You saw some neat little weaponry and things that were different from the previous movie. So yeah, it was enthralling, I thought.
Hey, you know what? Now that you brought it up, I have to agree. I like how everything was similar. Like, that's a sword, that's a gun, that's a shield from Star Trek, but it's done in their own little flavor. I said, that's neat. That's a soul sword. That's a
Yeah.
spirit cannon. That's the Heimdall shield of protection. I
Yeah.
said, okay, I'll buy this. And I also like how it had sort of like a Hercules and Xena kind of worlds. You know, like not everything is like Asgard. Not everything is wherever that frost giant place was in the first movie. They got like some normal looking places, but still different realms.
You had the Dark Owls realm. You had Jotunheim, the Ice Frost Giants realm. Not seen as well as much as the last movie, but you saw a couple pieces of it. You got Earth, which is big enough for all of us Earthling Midgardians. You got to see Hogan's realm, which looked more like Earth as well. And
Nothing wrong with that.
of course, you got Asgard, which poor Hogan. He's supposed to be one of the Warriors 3 for all us, for anyone who's not one of the comic book geeks.
That might be saying too much. Just saying. Okay.
All right.
Okay. But yeah.
Get your paid doc for that. You know that, right?
You know I
It
don't.
runs me all the time.
You know I don't pay you people.
Oh, is that why I keep coming up short? I think for the most part, you want to go to these movies, and we always tell you, never leave. Go when you
never
think it's
leave.
over.
Never.
Don't even leave. Every time we go, we almost have probably 80% of the audience is gone, because we usually see these movies first, second day that they're out. So consequently, no one always knows about these last minute scenes, because they say, oh, what a great movie, as they're talking on their way out of theater. We sit there and watch the credits. But inevitably, we're never disappointed. There's usually always something there for us. Now,
In the case of like the Avengers, minor spoiler, 2 somethings.
yes, so don't leave the movie. And even when you think it's safe to leave, still stay. Wait till the ushers come and sweep stuff from out of your road. Then you know it's okay. Because you won't be disappointed.
To be fair, it's Marvel's fault. We would believe that, at the end, you would see the trick ending and said, okay, that's great, let's leave. They come up with 2 trick endings now.
Yes.
You don't know what to
love it.
expect. If you were just an average moviegoer, you would think that the 1 trick ending was enough, and it would have been. But because we're experienced moviegoers, we know Marvel likes to roll in that fashion, so we stay to the very end.
And you will want to, because it will give you some insight as to a couple things that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And, I also have to add this too. Don't think that the movie is going to be all actiony and all wonderful. There are a couple little sad little moments in it, and I won't say any more or elaborate there. You feel yourself saying, oh, no.
I said, what?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Exactly. So, that happens. But that only added to it. It only made it a good, even more solid movie. What did you think about that, Backlash?
Well, I mean,
Who was the director? You told me about.
the director of the movie was one Alan Taylor of Game of Thrones fame.
That's why there's some unique differences.
And at the same time, some a really good connection between all this mythic might and magic stuff.
Yes, and Game of Thrones is seriously a kind of gladiator movie type fight. That's really cool.
But, we usually save this part to be the good and the bad of our little synopsis, but we've already gushed ourselves with all the goods. Let's see if we can find anything we can say that was a bad, or at least a needs improvement.
Well, I gotta say, as good as Malekith was, played by Christopher Eccleston of G.I. Joe, he was Destro, another very late spoiler. His sidekick, Curse, played by Heavy Duty of G.I. Joe. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his name. I'm sorry, Triple A. But, so you got Yo-Joe or Cobra in this case. But Christopher Eccleston played his part well. But as far as it concerns Loki, Malekith can't compare. I'm sorry. And that's the only bad thing, but he played his part well. He would just look as conniving and evil and mean-tastic as Loki. But as far as a villain, in fact, there's a couple of spoilers in the middle of the movie that kind of, it's like, really? You're doing this now? I mean, come on, man.
I know, right? But don't say anything.
I won't. But as far as being a villain of that movie, it was done very well. And no knocks at Christopher Eccleston, but the way the Marvel Cinematic Universe portrayed Malekith, and I've seen him portrayed in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the cartoon Avengers, he was really evil then. He only appeared for one episode.
Don't forget about Ultimate Alliance, the video game.
Yep.
I personally thought that the villain was okay. I mean, he wasn't the best villain ever. He just wasn't. I mean, he was good. He held his villainy on. But I'm still, when I look at a villain like that, I'm kind of looking at, I'm expecting you to come out Borg-tastic.
Yeah.
I'm expecting you to come out so dastardly that you got some stuff. But, all that being said, it was still good. It was still good. It was not a bad thing. It was just an observation.
If anything, this movie was about reconnecting Thor with Jane Foster. It was about strengthening the story between Thor and Loki and his parents. It was more about spoiler and spoiler
the significance of a shirtless superhero. That is such a crucial thing for us girls who go.
Yeah. And you know what? Look, Malekith and Curse, Algrim, aka Algrim, I could say that A thing. They were just here to get us from point A to point B.
The big dude was he was cool.
Curse was
yes.
Unlike Malekith, where he had his moments of spoiler weakness, Curse was strong the whole way through.
Yes. And that dug the idea that I got a chance to check out the dungeons.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I kind of like they have this little Star Trek barrier thing that separates everyone. That was kind of cool.
And I thought just like it was some cool effects. And even Loki this time, I thought, in this picture, I liked him much better, believe it or not, than I did in the last picture. I liked the last picture, but I didn't think he was Loki enough.
You mean the Avengers?
Yes.
Oh man, the Avengers. Yeah. He was more comedic.
Yeah. He had some moments in that, but not enough.
He was very threatening in that movie. They made sure you knew he was a threat.
Yeah.
But he was a butt monkey to one of the most famous non-spoilers ever. I won't say it though.
Yeah.
2, he wasn't in charge of the whole operation. The Chitauri were, right. And their leader of the Chitauri was.
Right.
And 3, he pretty much fought almost every Avenger in the movie, and honestly, very minor spoiler, he lost. So.
Yes, and I gotta say, with this movie, we got a chance to see a little bit more of him. It's never enough of him. I think he's really just that good. He matches Thor's, all that good aggression and all that noble angstiness that Thor brings to it. Loki is that kind of laid back, suave, sly devil, that balances out the whole Thor thing. So I really think it was just always well done between those two. Always.
Mm-hmm.
You guys done? Can I speak now? Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're sorry.
Oh, you guys are carrying on with your Loki love. But unfortunately, you guys aren't the only ones. Everyone in the universe has some strong Loki love, and compare him to the villain of this movie, the current movie, he seems a little flat. I, on the other hand, can see that comparison myself. But unlike most, I don't blame Malekith for being who he is. He's got a single purpose. He's not very flashy.
He's not.
He wants to create mass universal genocide, and that's pretty much it. He doesn't tap dance, he doesn't play the cards, he doesn't try to be entertaining and charming. That's Loki's thing. That's why Loki is pretty cool.
But I guess that you're right there, because what else would I expect death to be like?
I know, right? He's not a personality, and that's why I always and this is just a personal thing. It's that even though Loki tried to take over the Earth, it just doesn't work out for him, because that's not what Loki's supposed to do.
Right.
He's a pest. He's an annoyance. He tries to get your goat.
He's an imp.
He does things for his own amusement. But Conqueror has never been thing I've ever seen him as, and that's why he's so bad at it.
Well, he's also probably the most dangerous villain in the Marvel general since Magneto and Sabretooth, at least on a film scale.
Yeah, he's dangerous, but so is Mr. Mixel-Plicklick. You don't see him try to conquer everything. What about Impossible Man? He could rule the universe 10 times over with his abilities, but he's just an annoyance. I mean, Loki, I think, in my personal opinion, should play the type. And, but that's why he's also quite a tragic character. He wants to be rule it all. He wants to be taken seriously. But, it's his own personality that makes that kind of hard. And I always felt bad for him, especially in Avengers. Nothing he did was going right. And even then, he was just being used by ugly aliens controlled by you-know-who from the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But regardless, Malekith, in my opinion, he was pretty much the perfect villain. He was, for the movie, meaning that he was, had his goals, he set them out, he used good tactics, he used his people like any evil dick would. Curse was awesome. He was like the Juggernaut, but, black, which is awesome.
Curse was definitely awesome.
Mm-hmm. And,
Curse was cursed.
Curse.
But again, I have to say that the thing I didn't like was the fact that,
not enough shirtless scenes. No?
For Sith, no shirtless scenes for Sith. I agree. There was not one Sith shirtless scene in the whole movie.
It would never pass the rating. MPAA would not allow that.
I got nothing against Jane Foster, but
Gotta ask you.
What?
Did you pick up on possibly there being some kind of a little love connection for Loki in this movie?
With who?
I mean, it was just a tiny little indicator that he has a fondness for dark-haired chicks.
What, Sith?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
She doesn't necessarily, but maybe she does, because you really can't tell. It was kind of.
She'll never reciprocate his feelings
Look,
after all the crap he pulled.
Look, introduce you with Loki's famous partner in crime, since the comic books, the video games, and all. It'll explain things just a little bit. Maybe that character, but not Sif, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think he sees Sif as that big sister you always want to annoy.
Okay, could be that then.
But like I said, the thing about which is a great segue with what I wanted to bring up. I wanted to see more of the secondary characters be awesome. Like the Warriors 3, like Sif.
Absolutely.
I thought they were all going on a journey like Lord of the Rings, but they just got left.
Yeah.
Like one got really left almost at the very beginning of the movie.
I totally agree.
And I wanted to see Odin be Odin. He just shows up and choke slams Malekith, say, "What you doing, boy?" But it's Thor's movie. I can understand that, but I want them to all have a little time in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Not got what they got. I mean, they weren't bad, but I expected more.
That's his posse. They're hanging buddies.
That's the
ones that got his back thicker than thick. But I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the other thing. You might, if a person from the nerd geek set, you already know who the Warriors 3 are, so it would be no surprise about what happened with Fandral. For those who aren't geeky like us, Fandral is the blonde-haired guy that replaced Joshua Dallas, who was Prince Charming on Once Upon a Time, with Chuck. So Chuck was Fandral. Zachary Levi was Fandral. And you know what? He didn't take away from the movie, but facially he looked so different. he trained very well. He trained his butt off. His action scenes look very good.
Right.
Very good.
Look, I hate to sound racist, but I couldn't tell the difference. But anywho, that's it. I don't have anything else bad to say. I really don't. So I'm going to have to give this a platinum pass of perfection because this was a great movie. I expect nothing less. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me say, yeah, get him, Thor. And that's the perfect thing. That's the perfect way to express this type of movie. Lady?
Cheers for the director. I think he does bring some uniquenesses in his particular style and added to the genre flavor of this whole thing. I totally love the fact that we got a chance to see repeat characters in their role. They've really done a fantastic job with the cinematography and the color and the clothes.
And the CG.
Just amazing. The CG just spot on. I was not disappointed in the action. I was thoroughly pleased. So Platinum Plus, I don't know if that's the highest I can give it.
Platinum Pass.
Platinum Pass is what I give it.
Well, it didn't have Cyclops. It didn't have Gambit. It didn't have Falcon. The Falcon's going to be in Captain America. I can't wait. Woo! Didn't have
no War Machine.
No War Machine. No Yamcha from Dragon Ball Z. It didn't have Yugi Moto. Where was Homer Simpson? And who said they could do a movie without going to the negative zone? I know it's a Fantastic Four thing, but they should have worked the negative zone in somehow.
But they had the actor who played Human Torch as Captain America, baby.
Captain Mew Mew.
Captain Mew Mew.
Captain Mew. Captain Mew. Captain Mew Mew.
In the Avengers, and that was close to Thor.
Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. I guess I can live without all those characters and without the negative zone. I guess it did handle its business on its own. And, well, again, the opening for me was a little dry. I guess I could put my character bias aside, negative zone bias aside, and give it a platinum pass.
You knew it.
You wanted to. I was had to worry about you if you just gave it a pass.
So hard to find something wrong with it, but he couldn't.
He couldn't. And any sane person who loves movies couldn't.
And you'll be safe to take the kid.
And safe to take the
Yeah,
kid.
that's right. There was nothing really offensive about it. You know what? People were worried when Disney got their hands on Marvel. They were going to say, oh no, they're going to ruin Marvel. And you know what? In some tiny, minor ways they may have. What those ways are, I don't know yet. Maybe it's in the comics. I don't try to follow comics after they tried to depower all but 108 mutants. They made Spider-Man have a deal with the devil. They pretty much killed all the Avengers, but that was before Disney bought them. Okay.
Before Disney bought them.
Okay. So if something like that happens, I haven't seen it yet. But as far as this goes, it's family friendly and it's action packed, and they make sure that guys like Thor and Tony Stark and all of Thor's homies and all the Avengers, even most of the SHIELD agents, even Jasper Stillwell in some of the Marvel shorts, all have characters of their own. They make all these characters engaging for a reason. So Disney's doing a good job with it.
Amen. And even Stan Lee, he even made his appearance too.
He's gonna always show up, even as a ghost. He's just gonna haunt the movies forever.
Fun fact: the only movies he never appeared in was X2 for some reason, and more importantly, the Blade series and the Punisher movies, because he didn't create them. He created everything else. So every other Marvel movie, starting with the first X-Men movie, he's been a part of.
Well, I can understand Blade if you didn't create it, but also, as I always personally believe, Blade was the superhero movie that started all other current superhero movies.
And especially as well done as it was.
I know. Bring back Blade, Hollywood. Stop being such meanies.
One more thing. If you haven't heard the news yet, you're probably the last ones to know since, the news has been out for a while. But along with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and rumored of Agent Peggy Carter getting her own series, Netflix has inked a deal with Marvel. There will be a Defenders mini-series. Defenders is the Avengers ripoff with Hulk, Silver Surfer, Doctor Strange, and Namor the Submariner starting it. But in this incarnation, it's the Daredevil, Power Man, a.k.a. Luke Cage, Luke Cage's wife, Jessica Jones, who was a former superhero herself, and the immortal Iron Fist. And they each, before the Defenders miniseries will start, will get their own miniseries.
What, as a movie or on TV?
On Netflix.
Oh, huh.
Each of them will get their own miniseries show
Nice.
that then form the Defenders. So you got the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you got the Defenders. They are really making this a Marvel universe.
Amazing.
Well, DC, you better get on the stick, boy. That Arrow show is not going to cut it.
It's a good show. It's a good show, but DC's moving at a very slow pace right now. You had a Green Lantern movie, which I thought was awesome. But
I liked it too.
liked
It didn't pass the comic book geek test or the cinema snob test. No offense, Brad Jones. Sorry. And then you got the Nolan Batman trilogy movies and the Man of Steel movies, where Superman was a bit more aggressive in its tactics. And
I like Superman though.
yeah,
I like the Superman. I do like the Dark Knight films too.
Yep.
And they were a little moody, but
Yep.
whatever.
And then you had the Arrow show, which may or may not be part of all this, but there's no Wonder Woman movie, there's no Flash
Yeah.
movie yet.
And they
And
need
they're-
to get on that.
They're trying to make a Justice League. They're not doing it fast enough. Marvel has, starting with Blade technically, if you want to start with Blade technically, or start with the first Avengers movie, Marvel has already lapped them either 1,008 times or at least once. So, hurry up, DC. You're getting dusted.
And we're almost on the 30 mark, so I think we're going to call this a night.
Okay.
So this is the one true Omni Gamer, boss of the Bronze.
This is Agent True Backlash.
And this is the Asgardian Empress Blue, first wife of Thor.
What about Jane Foster?
We're going to send her back to Earth packing.
Well, easy come, easy go. Peace out.